markets. So wherever we have worked with the RMG sector in Bangladesh, we have seen most of them have LED certified factory buildings. So you guys have set up the benchmark in that sense. Now for the other levels like circularity, resource efficiency, etc., I'm sure RMG sector is taking the lead on this front. From IFC's perspective, we are working with the corporate clients worldwide in the manufacturing sector to help them decarbonize. When I say decarbonize, it means resource efficiency, circularity, renewable energy, energy efficiency, and so on. On the advisory side, we have this flagship program, which is PACT, Partnership for Cleaner Textile, which you are aware of. It's already working. It's a holistic program which is supporting the whole entire textile value chain. So what I believe and what IFC believe that collaboration is the key when we are talking of industrial decarbonization. You alone can't achieve the objective, right? So we have to work with the government, with the industry association, factories, international organizations, financial institutions. Financing is also going to be the key part. So we have to work together to help RMG sector decarbonize. And I can see in the today's panel discussion, we'll be hearing from players, top players in the Bangladesh RMG sectors, and we are interested to learn about. We are looking forward to learn about how you are doing and how you are able to achieve this industrial decarbonization. So, since time is short, I just want to say thank you for all for joining, and would like to hand over to my colleagues for taking up the panel discussion. Over to you. Thanks.
Thank you, Rajesh, for introducing IFC's climate commitment. We will now move on to the panel discussion session. Our panel discussion session will be moderated by Ms. Ashani Shanuka Alice, Senior Operations Officer, IFC. Our panelists are Ms. Nisha Chaudhary, Program Manager, IFC, Partner for Cleaner Textile PAC Program. Mr. Selim Khan, Director, Ecotex Limited. Mr. Archa Patanaik, Team Head, Environmental Sustainability, PUMA. Dr. Atik Rahman, Executive Director, Vikas. Kindly requesting Ashani to begin the panel discussion.
And also for all the, and then we'll open it up to everyone, all the participants, to put any questions they might have in the chat. Alavi will be moderating the questions as they come in and try to group some of them so that we can have you as a participants also be able to ask questions. So if I could start with Nishat. Nishat, could you tell us a little about the IFC-led PACT program and how it has been helping the decarbonization agenda of the RMG industry in Bangladesh?
Thank you, Ashani. IFC is promoting a green, resilient, inclusive development of the ready-made garment industries of Bangladesh, and Partnership for Cleaner Textile program is a great example. This is a program we started in 2013, and the program is funded by government of Denmark and Netherlands. In Bangladesh, we provided advisory support to reduce climate footprint of the industries. As of now, the participating factories reduced significant amount of water energy consumption. And just to give you an example, the factories, those who participated, they have reduced freshwater consumption by 30 billion liters, which is equivalent to annual water need of 1 million people of Bangladesh. And greenhouse gas emission around 670,000 tons per year, which is equivalent to removing over 100,000 cars from the road. This program also established a knowledge center called the Textile Technology Business Center, which is housed inside BGMA, that is Bangladesh Garment Manufacturing Ready-made Garment Manufacturing Association, and The center is providing information about best practices and technologies, and so far facilitated more than 100 business-to-business linkages with factories and the technology vendors, and organized 300 plus trainings, trained around 6,500 factory professionals. And beside this, the program also did a lot of advocacy, and through this program, basically helped Bangladesh Bank to set up a 200 million green transformation fund, through which Bangladesh government is providing support for low-cost financing for the industry. And yeah, the pact also helped in reducing custom duty of 52 capital machineries, essential machineries, to help the industry reduce, become more energy efficient and water efficient. There's another example. Factory, you have heard about the zero discharge of hazardous chemical initiative in Europe, whereby number of brands they have signed up, and there is one of the action plan is that to eliminate certain chemicals. So 3 of these harmful chemicals, custom duty has been increased through our advocacy from 5% to 25% to discourage the industry to buy those harmful chemicals. Beside this, the program is also promoting scaling up rooftop solar. As you know, the energy price is gradually increasing, and the industry is looking into diversifying their energy resource. So some of the regulatory barriers, such as provision for private-to-private power purchase and power purchase guarantee, those 2 provisions are included in the net metering guideline.
Thank you, Nishat. The results of the PAC program are really impressive, but 2 things that stood out to me in what you said was, 1, reducing the freshwater consumption equivalent to the water needs of 1 million people in Bangladesh is really impressive. And the image of removing 100,000 cars from the road, I think that really helps us understand visually some of the impacts that you're talking about. As a follow-up questions, how can the lessons that we've learned from the decarbonization in the RMG sector be translated into other sectors? And what do you see the future of decarbonization in Bangladesh looking like?
So, IFC already is looking into other sector, the hard-to-abate sector, like, for example, the construction industry, which includes the cement, steel, and also the aluminum industry, and also light engineering. These are the highest consumer of the energy, and also they're the highest emitter also. So I've just very recently started this program. We'll be definitely looking into this industrial sector, and of course whatever we have learned from the pact we'll try to implement. And of course this hard to abate sector will need a lot of help from us to identify the decarbonization solution. That's what we foresee. And regarding the future of decarbonization of Bangladesh, Bangladesh compared to other countries, current level of emission is low, but the Bangladesh government has committed across energy sector, transport sector, and industry, and as well as agricultural sector, will try to address the emission level. As of now, the RMG sector accounts around 10% of the total energy consumption, And overall, the projected, the industrial sector is projected to be the highest contributor of the GG emission. Right now, it's generating around 30% of the greenhouse gas emission, and the government has prioritized that to reduce the industrial energy intensity by 20%, and we'll see more and more. The factories will be adopting energy efficiency measures and circular economy solutions, as well as look into renewable energy options. And if I give an example of the program that we are currently managing, PACT program, so we see more and more factories are signing up by themselves to the program, because they know that they must go green. So that to remain competitive in the international market, and there are very good examples. There are champions out there. They are also learning from them, and they know that the green initiative ensures long-term, business with buyers, and also help to enter into new market on different markets.
Thank you, Nishat. And this is actually a good way to transition to our next panelist. When you were talking about factories voluntarily wanting to join the program. Mr. Salim Khan, if I could just ask you a couple of quick questions. The company's decarbonization efforts fitting into the broader context of sustainable development and climate action in Bangladesh?
Thank you, Sunil. Thanks for me this panelist discussions regarding this decarbonization's industrial apparel sector in Bangladesh. I would like to tell a few words about that. I am leading the Ecotex on behalf of Ecotex, so I have to say something about Ecotex. Okay. The Ecotex government started since 2008. Ecotex is one of the largest LEED Platinum certified factory, having it 1.9 million square feet area, and advanced high-tech machinery set up with knitting, dyeing, digital printing, placement printing, a state of art, denim washing also, and juxtaposed we have jersey washing. Denim we have 20 lines, and jersey roughly 110 lines facility. From the very inception period, Ecotex have some climate action initiative undertaken by the factory. And also, that more than 6,000 employees are now in Bangladesh in our factory. So if I talk about the sustainability, so there's three important pillars will come out. This is social, environmental, and also the economic sustainability. So if we think about only social and environmental, so if you do not take care of the economic sustainability, so our entire project will not run properly. So social, environmental, and economic sustainability, three pillars need to be considered to really see the factory in the next level. So I add something that what benefit we are giving this the employee of the 16,000 people right now. But a few words I want to tell about this. We are providing breakfast, lunch, as well as dinner. So breakfast and dinner are getting those who are doing the shifting duty, and lunch only those who are doing the giant shift. So 16,000 people we are providing all this is fresh food. So apart from this, I would like to describe about this climate initiative, what Ecotex has been taken. Voice is clear or not? Asani is hearing me? Okay. So because of I am here in Ecotex from the very inception period 2009 to till today, already 4 years gone. So once you select that the machines, what type of machines you have to buy. So very beginning, we have to taking care of the water. The water is big resources. So roughly, if you see the 97% of salt water in this planet, which is not drinkable, is captured by the ocean and salty lakes, and 3% of the fresh water, definitely, and 1% water is drinkable, which is also is surface. It is the 1% water does not meet all our demands. So roughly 85 to 90% water we're extracting from ground level to run our factory. So that is very important how we can mitigate this sort of water related issues. So for the reasons, we have taken a lot of leadership from the institutional periods. So we bought low liquor ratio dyeing machines. Why low liquor ratio dyeing machine? If you have the low liquor ratio dyeing machine, does not mean you can able to reduce the water consumption if you do not have that process knowledge. So our low liquor ratio dyeing machines we bought very initially is 1:5 liquor ratio. So by applying this technological advancement and the process knowledge, we can reduce 40% of water. So if you think about, already Nishat already explained, he has reduced, the IFC has reduced enormous amount of water through this technological advancement and this guidance and monitoring system. So if you see the industry average might be water consumption 80 to 90 liters, where Ecotex is using only 45 liter water. So there's enormous water we have reduced. So water reduction does not mean only this water, that it is connected with this pumping of water from the ground level. So the water we're using for less water means we are extracting less amount of water from the ground level. So less amount of water using means less chemical. Less chemical means we are using less dyestuffs. Less dyestuff means that we are extracting less amount of effluent to the ETP. So there will be some sort of less, but effluent will be generated. So apart from this, we are using a special dyestuff. So definitely in the reactive dyes, average the fixation rate is 55 to 65%. So we are using those dyestuffs are more than 85 to 90% fixation. That means 10 to 15% hydrolase dyes will go to the ETP. So that will create less amount of sellers. So we are talking about water, we are talking about the input management stream, we are talking about the chemical, which is needed less amount of water to fix up the dyestuffs. And even we are using less low temperature dyestuffs and chemicals, which can reduce enormous amount of carbon emissions. So less is more, less is beautiful. Apart from this, what initiative we have taken this to reduce and recycle concept in Ecotex. So another important thing that we have already used, already invested regarding the rainwater harvesting. So roughly, the average the rainfall in Bangladesh roughly 1,500 millimeter to 2,000 millimeters. So because we have the rooftop area, so we are collecting the water from 200,000 square feet of area, roughly 45,000 meter cube of water every year. So that means 45,000 meter cube of water we are not extracting from ground level. So what are doing? That water is really conserving the precious resources, and it benefits not only the Ecotex but also surroundings, environment, and the local community also. Another things is coming from might be this. We are using energy savings concept in exhaust gas boiler. This is called EZB, because the amount of gas is we are using from this natural gas is using in our boiler or generator. The generator is discharging when 450 degree temperature in the environment. That hot water we are using to run the EZB, exhaust gas boiler. Another is this jacket hot we are using to run the chiller in our roughly this is 250 capacity of refrigerant tons. 250 refrigerant tons mean we are using less amount of the fossil fuel to 175 kilowatt hour we are savings. That means we are saving 523 metric ton of carbon emission every year through this concept.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. I think it's really impressive and commendable that you're investing resources into this agenda. If I could just briefly ask you 2 follow-up questions, because you are investing resources into both these social and economic betterment. One, could you just very briefly tell me what your motivation is? And then secondly, what you see as the key challenges and opportunities for decarbonization in the manufacturing sector in the next couple of years?
You know, this the Bangladesh RMG sector has achieved impressive growth and the transformation over the past decades in overcoming significant obstacles along with the way. Today, however, it faces a new set of challenges: global economic turmoil, severe energy crisis, and price pressures, as well as the buying capacity has been declined tremendously. So in the years ahead, the industry will need to embrace the more holistic transformations in partnership with manufacturers, international buyers, workers, representatives, the governments, policymakers, environmental consultants, and other stakeholders. So of course, there's challenges is there. So if say the big challenge is the absence of easy access to finance, and also if you really have this decarbonization concept for the solar issues, there will be some land is not availability in manufacturing facility. So most of the factory that has been built not based on this solar panel or wind power or any other source of hydrocarbon facility. So factory has been built in the vertically as because of the scarcity of land. Another is the credibility of technology suppliers due to the lack of knowledge. And another is the less commitment from buyer not providing stimulus, because if you do this practice, buyers should come forward with some certain percent of the premium price. Okay, so if you do not get some percentage of the benefit from buyers, so factory will not willing to have this practice. So another is our power infrastructures not allow rapid transition to renewable energy. This is another challenges I do believe. And even if you think of the RDC, renewable energy certificates, if you really trading, if you really buy this renewable energy to offset this, these are another big challenges because that market is not still available. So this is a limitation. So solar alone cannot provide comprehensive alternatives to fossil fuels. Wind and hydro, if available, could make good combinations for replacing fossil fuel based on grid also.
Thank you. I think that's
these are the challenges.
Thank you. And I think through some of the other panelists, we'll discuss those a little bit more in detail. So if I could move on to Mr. Arshak Patanaik from Puma. Could you tell us a little bit about your climate commitments in driving the reduced carbon emissions in your supply chain in Bangladesh? And could you also tell us about some of the successes and challenges you've had there?
Okay. I hope my voice is audible. Yeah, clear? Okay. Thanks. Is it clear? Can you confirm my voice is audible?
Yes, we can hear you, but we can't see you yet.
Okay.
Okay, there you are. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you, Asani. Thanks for your question, and thanks, Nisat, for the opportunity to speaking in this panel discussion. So if you see at Puma, we are very much committed to climate action. We have actually integrated the climate action into our business strategy. In 2019, we have committed to science-based target in which we have committed 60% reduction in GHG intensity by 2030 from a baseline of 2017. That is as per the well below 2 degrees Celsius scenario. But now we have already submitted an application to science-based target to upgrade to a more ambitious target in as per 1.5 degree scenario. That means we are committed to reduce 33% absolute reduction by 2030 from the baseline of 2017. We are committed to net zero by 2050 as part of Vision Charter, and separately we have another target to achieve 25% of renewable energy from renewable sources by the core factories. Core factories means those factories who are contributing to 80% of our business. Another commitment we have to phase out coal-fired boilers from our coal supply chain. So these are our major climate commitments, and we can see we have achieved a lot in this area in past 4 to 5 years. We can see here absolute scope 3 emission has reduced by 12% in 2021, which is a 46% reduction in GHG intensity with respect to 2017 baseline. The cleaner production programs like PACT, Clean by Design, has been backbone of our climate actions. We have also seen renewable energy programs in various countries. Coming to Bangladesh, we have extensively worked with PACT program. Most of our core suppliers has been participating in PACT programs and achieve good savings. I can say almost 22% of GHG reductions with a saving of energy, saving of 70%, and good return on investment with a payback period within 1 year or 6 months. PIMA is also supporting our suppliers in Bangladesh in terms of vendor financing programs in 2016, and that is based on the credit rating that includes sustainable performance of suppliers. That means suppliers can get their payment from the brand much earlier as compared to the normal schedule of payment, and that helps the cash flow of the suppliers immensely.
Thank you. I think it's commendable that you not only have targets, but you're actually putting more pressure on yourself to do more. I think that's great to hear. For a brand like Puma, a lot of your customer loyalty is driven by the brand's value. And as you're increasing your commitment, my first question is, what more will you be asking from your suppliers? And then related to that is, how do you see the fashion industry and fashion brands playing a role in shaping the future of the decarbonization agenda in Bangladesh?
Right. Yeah. So coming to your first question, we are committing to our consumers nowadays. There's a lot of consumer awareness about decarbonization. People are taking informed decisions while purchasing the products. So that is very much in the US and European markets. So we are committed to develop more and more sustainable products. We have launched a collection called Excel, which is a carbon neutral product. We have launched Regen collection, which is based on recycled products, and also there's something called Reshwet, which we are exploring if iconic Puma product, sneaker product, which is called Sweat, can be a biodegradable sneaker product, in which the products will be taken back from the market and it will be fed into a composting facility, and we can see whether the shoes can be converted into composting facility in this manner. Yes, it requires a lot of new inputs, new investment from the suppliers, where it coming to sustainable material selection, investment in technology like cutting waste recycling, and we see this happening. Our suppliers in Bangladesh, like suppliers like DBL, Square Fashion, they have their own in-house recycling facilities. Coming to decarbonization initiatives in Bangladesh, we see there are positive signs on this, and suppliers are willing to invest, like Salim is mentioning, low liquor ration machines, exhaust gas boilers. So these are the good signs for the Bangladesh sector. We are collaborating a lot under Fashion Charter to have decarbonization. In 2021, we conducted a baseline study for renewable energy in collaboration with UNDP and H&M, and we could see the players like BGMEA, IFC can plays a lot of uh, role in basically influencing the policy decisions that is very much required for a renewable energy transition. We have seen like Made in Bangladesh group in which our CSO joined and emphasized that the growth momentum should be done in a sustainable manner. And recently we have a policy advocacy meeting which has come very positive where under the Fashion Charter where the government of Bangladesh they actually confirm that they are very positive and they want to take it forward the policy decisions in favor of energy transition. Hope I have answered your question.
No, thank you. That's great, and that's actually a fantastic transition to Dr. Atik Rahman. Dr. Atik, if I can ask you, what are some of the key policies that you think need to come into place in order to promote the decarbonization agenda? And what is it that the academic institutions can do to work with both with government as well as development partners and other stakeholders in trying to get these policies adopted?
ঠিক আছে তাহলে কালকে বা পরশুদিন আপনার সাথে যাবে তুমিনকে নিয়ে আসেন তুমিন তো ভালো বুঝে আমার কাছে ভালো লাগছে আপনি ওকে এখান থেকে নিয়ে আসতে পারেন কিনা না আমার সাথে ফার্স্ট আর কখনো
Dr. Atik, are you still with us?
Unmute. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, right. First of all, it's an excellent concept and a growth development of our Bangladesh garment textile sector to take into consideration energy efficiency and energy consumption to the level of making it a more efficient system and using less energy, which in turn brings money to the company and also goodwill for the product. Because as you go to the international market, people would like to know if you're following best procedures and most modern and supportive procedures. So the fashion who are trying to sell their products, they have a plus point on the efficiency and energy sensitive issue. It's probably not the top area in the market. Cost is the main one, but this has contribution to the cost if we can do it less energy, more products. As to the quality control, there has to be assured need for controlling quality, and the system having to raise temperature very high is probably, I don't know the chemistry of all the chemicals that's being used, that some of the chemicals also have probably irritating behavior at higher temperature. So if the temperature is lower level and can be done, it's probably good for the product, i.e. the clothes, and also the future of the wearers. So what is a good thing that all that is happening slowly. We have been propagating it for a long time as environmentalists. How do you lower the energy of the system, and how do you make it also more efficient for do more with less in terms of energy and water consumption. The type of quality of water needed has a cost. So water consumption reduction with better use of chemicals or lower use of chemicals is always necessary or helps the cost to come down lower. So this is a very good initiative by the industries to go further. it also Bangladesh water coming from the rivers and the lakes, and we are flooded with water in rainy season. The tragedy of water is you have the highest amount of water when you don't need anymore. So that creates flood, and you need more in the winter season, and then you don't get enough there, and you have to also manage the quality. Because there is a huge amount of water that passes through Bangladesh. Bangladesh and water are pretty much synonymous for living. So, but on the other hand, for the industrial purposes, it means money, it means cost. And it's great to see that the garment and the textile industry is moving in the right direction. Less chemicals, less water, and a more efficient system is the way to move forward. I think over the last 30, 40 years, about garment industry development is in the last decade that water and water use reduction has become a criteria. So in terms of energy efficiency, one of the policies we advise the government is energy efficiency, water efficiency, fuel efficiency in all possible ways to make the industry go further. And garment and textile is the biggest industrial sector now. Jute is probably the second big one, and there are other leather and other areas coming up in the industrial sector. So complementing the learning from this major industrial input and efficient output will give evidence to the other upcoming sectors to do similar energy efficient system. Bangladesh has been fortunate to get such a big garment textile industry and being the major exporter and bringing international money. Right now, that dollar has such a scarcity and value that has been increased. Our industries do suffer a bit for transactional cost of dollar conversion, but nonetheless, being such a big industry, it is being able to face it boldly and also do better, which helps the economy of Bangladesh as a whole. On technical details, I don't want to go. There are other experts who knows better and does it. But on the policy side, we have been influence the policy. The government industries have been discussing with us, industrial sector as a whole, and we have been advising the government how best to help those who are trying to establish good practices, particularly more efficient system, doing more output of higher quality with less input and carbon reduction. So let me stop there. I didn't go into many of the technical details, but big policy issues, but would be happy to answer questions in other areas also.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
I just have one observation and sort of a brief follow-on question. You covered so many interesting things in that article. Obviously, the scientific evidence is very clear in terms of a need to invest in decarbonization. And you mentioned earlier, one, there needs to be a reduced cost for the private sector to adopt these technologies. And Salim had mentioned earlier, there needs to be more knowledge about the technologies available, as well as at an affordable cost. And then you also spoke to the need to ensure that there are adequate quality regulations in place to assure quality and safety. And academic, and this is purely a question to you, academic institutions have traditionally sort of stayed out on the outskirts of policy discussions. And given where Bangladesh is now, what do you see the role of academic institutions being in being part of the policy discussion? And how can we, all of us here at the table, leverage you more?
Thank you.
we have in Bangladesh Center for Advanced Studies. For us, our definition of advanced is that areas which are not normally touched by the university sector or the research areas, we tend to open new areas, and particularly what is relevant to the people and the ecosystem, government policy world, country, Bangladesh. That's all. So, is one. But we also, garment industry has shown that they are moving with time in terms of changing technology, lowering down the cost, and particularly lowering down pollution in the system. So these are this brings kudos and good the public acceptance of the garment and textile sector, and that is very, very useful for the textile sector. Rather than, I mean, many industries, polluting industries, they spend a huge lot of money trying to impress on people that it's not as harmful as the thing, but nothing like doing by showing that it works. So this has been a very good example how the emerging industry is not only coming, but as you know, garments industry in Bangladesh is one of the largest in the world, second largest, and also in terms of pollution yield. If it reduces that, it's good for our economic health, physical health as of human being, as well as that of the ecosystem. Let me stop there, then I can come back if you want.
Thank you so much. And I see that we have about 89 participants online. So please feel free to ask any question, even if it's not on the broad topic of decarbonization. If you have any questions to ask of any of the panelists and the business they do, please go ahead. But I wanted to give the floor back to Dr. Salim Khan, Mrs. Salim Khan, just really quickly, as he wanted to add a few points on energy, on the concept of energy savings.
Yeah, exactly. So, thank you. Thank you to give the floor again. So I have to add a few things. It's very important. You know, definitely every year we are really consuming 1,800 billion liters of water to produce 120 billion pieces of garments, which we are exporting to Europe and America, and by the worth of $44 or $42 billion. Not only we are exporting garments, we are exporting also the fresh water to the Europe and America. You understand? That means we are extracting 1,800 billion liters of water every year, and juxtaposely, we are really destroying the surface water. So in that sense, by 2030, if you really have a plan to export $100 billion of our export, that means we have to extract double of our water what we are extracting right now. So what we have to do, the Ecotex have taken the great initiative regarding the ZLD, zero liquid discharge. So right now we are consuming 4,000 liters of water every day. That means if we install the ZLD plan and evaporation plan, we in future, by 2023, we will not extract any single liter of water from ground level. That means this is the closed loop. And the salt we are using, Atik sir knows about this. The global salt is extracting the environment, and the aquatic life is destroying. Every day we are using 10 to 12 tons of global salt. This global salt will reuse again and again. So this is the big achievement for Bangladesh that we have started. It will be run by 2023. Hopefully this is the big breakthrough of the garments and textile industry.
Thank you very much. So we have one question from one of the participants, which said, I was curious how we can scale the amount of garments leaders adopting pact measures. So this would be to you, Nishat. How does IFC reach and collaborate with so many stakeholders? And this second follow-up question is, can we expect newer programs after PACT, which can help us meet the 50% GHG reduction targets by 2030? So Nishat, let me ask those questions from you first and then move on.
Shall I try to answer that question? There is nothing here.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
So, we started this program in 2013. It's a long journey. And the way, the Partnership for Cleaner Textile actually stands partnership. So what happened when we started the program, we brought all the stakeholders who were interested in pushing the sustainability agenda. So in the program, the key stakeholders are brands, factories, government, financial institution. So we brought all of them to push the agenda. So and another point, there was another question. Can you repeat the question again, Ashani? I think I missed it.
Can we expect newer programs after PACT which can help meet the 50% GHG reduction targets by 2030?
So PACT is currently, it's going to end this year, the phase 2 of the program. We are going to carry out a inline evaluation, and that will guide us on the next phase of the program. So most likely by the end of the year, we'll know how the design of the program.
Thank you. The following two questions I'm actually going to group together. They are around access to finance, basically. So one was, if we want to install energy efficient equipment like EGB, heat absorption, condensed economizer, etc., is there a fund that they can tap into without interest? And related to that, are there any economic incentives available in Bangladesh for industries who are moving towards decarbonization? So that would actually be a question that would be open to the whole panel, including our speaker, Rajesh. So if anyone wants to jump in, please go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So I can take up this question. So look, if you talk of the energy efficiency projects, right, and they will pay back you in less than 1 year. So the question is, how will you be justifying, the concessionality in such type of projects, right? And the experience which we had working with the companies in Bangladesh, we are lending on a commercial basis, and we have supported the decarbonization for a number of textile companies. But if there is a case where you need concessionality and there is some justification, I think in that case we can look upon. But generally, IFC doesn't want to distort the market, right? If it is, if we can land on commercial basis, if there is a good payback, then the justification is difficult. So depending on case-to-case basis, we can look at it. Thanks.
Thank you. And Dr. Atik, I don't know if there are any funds available through any government initiatives or any foundations or any foundations in Bangladesh that you know about. I'm relatively new to Bangladesh, and I'm not sure if there are, but it would be interesting to hear if there is any such initiatives, or Nishat or anyone else here.
I think the GTSF, Green Transformation Fund, that is still available. I don't know about the interest rate, but certainly you can reach out to the banks, financial institution, and to get more information.
Thank you. So we have another really interesting question asked by one of the participants. If initiatives are taken where designers will keep in mind the colors to be used at the designing stage to avoid harmful chemical discharge, how do we educate the designers in this regard, and how can we put together this whole awareness at the design stage of production?
Can I give the answers?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. Because this is totally input management stream, but if you really think about this, Nishata already explained that by 2011, in 30th July might be that the detox campaign that has been initiated in China, from China, these two rivers have been inundated with lots of contaminants, hazardous substances. Since then, this Greenpeace has been taken the initiative to make a collaborative with all brands, retailers, suppliers, dyes and chemical manufacturers, textile manufacturers, all the governments. A lot of the stakeholders are joined to make a roadmap by 2020. Okay, they have identified this 11 priority positive list that need to be phased out by 2020 to 2020. Okay. This is the PFC, PFOS, or organic compounds, phthalates, APO, like a lot of things, the 11 priority positive list. So based on that they have initiated ZDSC, zero discharge of hazardous chemical. This is the part of basically that initiation has been taken in 2011. This is the part of also Greenpeace. This Greenpeace has been started 1948 after the Second World War, maybe, you know. Okay, then 1971, 2011, they have worked a lot for this deforestation, climate action, a lot of this is NGO, on kind of NGO. So they have set the parameters, the chemicals they are using that need to be ZDSC compliant. ZDSC level 1, 2, 3, okay. So apart from this, if you really ensure the chemical and dyes you're using must be Blue Sand certified. The Ecotex and most of the film factory in Bangladesh are Blue Sand certified chemical we are using. So that is very important issue. That if the designer know which color is Blue Sand certified, the combination of diastoms, the combination of the chemicals that has been using to replicate this chemical, they can find out through the Blue Finder which chemical is really certified or not, Blue Sand certified or not, or ZDSC level 3 or not, or CTC certified or not. That is enough for to ensure this input management stream to whatever the color is not the limitation. Every color we can produce. Just to add few percentage of this the premium. Do you understand? So basically, the sustainability is not the fee. It is the certain level of cost the buyers should understand. But practice, what is the source of this garment they are buying from? That is very important. So always the need to think about this source of which company is producing this sort of the good quality of product in terms of environmental, social, and the economical context.
Thank you. I was glad that you added that piece because part of the question was asking if that meant that we had to phase out vibrant colors. But it sounds like there's new technologies that would allow, or new chemicals that would allow us to create those vibrant colors.
So any color.
Yes. So that's great to hear. So we just have 2 minutes until we close. I really wanted to thank all our panelists here. I learned a lot today from each of you, and I wish we had time to spend more time with each of you to go into a lot more detail. But I think the one takeaway that I got from this conversation was that each of us have a role to play along the value chain individually. But in order for us to have any impact, if we leverage each other, we can really have a meaningful impact and create meaningful change. So thank you to all our panelists. If we can give a round of applause for all of them for participating.
If I may come in, maybe we could have a group picture and everyone can turn on the video just for the panelists.
Sure. Maybe we can just wrap up so we can let the participants go, and then we can take a group picture real quick. But also,
Sure, yes. Thank you.
But also thank you for all of you who joined this call. We appreciate your time and the questions that you have asked, and we hope to continue the discussion as we go along. Thank you. All right, Alavi, over to you.
Thank you. I think we're at the end of this session. So if everyone could open their camera, take a screenshot. Dr. Atik, sir, if you could turn on your camera, we can take a screenshot. Dr. Atik, can you hear us?
Hey, Archak, how are you?
Yeah, I'm well.
Do you recall me that I was in Bangladesh? You understand?
Yeah, I know very well.
I think Dr. Atik is not available. We can take a screenshot.
Yeah. Let's just take a screenshot without Atik, sir. Maybe he's not there. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're done. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.
Thank you. Thank you.
সুলতান গাইন কদিন আগে